Hello. Welcome to, we'll call this episode, let's say, I don't know, 4.5, 4.5 HD, 2.5 remix of the
2.5,
extremely long-running State of the Heart podcast that definitely still exists, and you can definitely call it ongoing if it only has one episode every 2 years. Apologies for the absence. So for the take 5. Apologies for the absence. We had done 4 episodes, basically establishing like a monthly schedule, and then I took a little tumble off had a little accident.
Oh, that's right.
And that's what basically caused us to stop. Yeah. So it was like, oh, we'll get back to it in a sec, and then once we'd fallen out of the routine, we didn't fall back into it. But yeah, I thought, given that Missing Link is probably closest on the horizon, even though one of the episodes already kind of was on that, wouldn't hurt to talk about it again, given that, you know, people right now, the current consensus among the Kingdom Hearts community seems to be that it's somehow gone forever. Oh no, it's disappeared, and it's like, I don't think that's true at all. I think if we kind of do a little bit of a thinky, we can kind of figure out what's going on with it. Oh, so we have webcams on now for the first time. Hello. In terms of like where Missing Link actually is right now, we're like, missing, like everyone's favorite, you know, Kingdom Hearts fans only ever have maybe 1, possibly 2 jokes at a time. But you don't. People like seem to rag on me a little bit for like really ultra comparing it to Pokemon Go, but it's like, I play that game daily since it's come out, and then I look at Missing Link and I'm like, clearly, okay, there's an obvious, like, yeah, just visually similar because it's a you know, a real world exactly, yeah, but it just really, it goes beyond that. It's like you interact with the different interactables, and they just functionally look and perform very, very, very similarly. And it's like, obviously you're not catching Pokemon, you're defeating Heartless, so there's differences there. You don't level yourself up by acquiring different monsters. You, like, obviously you have stats as an RPG character and Keyblades and metal pieces, and that's what makes you strong, blah 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 blah. But like, there are some really big similarities. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that you don't release that kind of game when it's winter for Americans and Japanese people. You just don't do that. Like, I think the initial plan,
like
if I was to, well, yeah, I think the initial plan was to release it like September. No, probably August, like July, August.
Yeah, like winter 2024 is what I remember hearing, or even seeing. Right? Didn't they in their trailer? It said coming
2024. I don't know if it's
coming 24.
I don't think it specified a season. Yeah, I think it just said 2024. But like, we had the beta, and it seemed pretty ready to go. To be honest, like, I mean, there was myself and a few other Xeons in chat now. Like, we were streaming it quite a lot for just the limited content in the beta. And if people don't want to go in super spoiled about what's in that, I won't go super into it, but at least without spoiler warnings. Right. Because I know a lot of people just wanted to distance themselves.
I'm excited to like experience it when it comes out.
I think you'll have a great time. I really enjoy checking it out.
If it comes out.
Yeah, right.
It's missing.
But yeah, you just don't. I think they missed their window. I think by the fact they didn't have it in August meant it wasn't coming that year at all. I wouldn't be surprised if what we end up seeing is quite similar to what we saw in that final beta. Like, it's not super different, just because it.
I don't know. I feel like they would. Oh, I see. I guess if they shift their resources from Missing Link to Page 4, or they just keep it on the back burner,
or it's whatever team, you know, Big Groove probably
that's
making
guess it wouldn't be Page 4.
Would be doing other stuff. Yeah, I don't think the mobile team touches on. I mean, there'll be like crossover attributes in some regard, but at least they're developing.
Perspective, it'd be weird to me that they wouldn't release it, because that'd be like a lot of money to put into a mobile game.
They're releasing it. The fact that this is even a question.
They're definitely releasing it. Yeah.
The fact that this is even a question, I don't know where Kingdom Hearts fans get the goal. It's like, we're not. My example used to be like Metroid fans, where it's like you have this massively popular series, and then it's just gone. It's just gone from. We don't hear anything. And then we've had this resurgence in the last couple of years. So now I'm like, my new example is like Beyond Good and Evil fans. Like, those poor people who had this one game, cult classic, loved it, and then they get every now and then sprinkles of a Beyond Good and Evil 2, and then they have a full-on CG trailer at, was it E3, I don't know, 2017, whenever it was. It was quite a while ago.
Wow,
and then just, poof, gone from the face of the earth. I think the project lead, so I don't know anything about it, but I think the project lead might have even passed away. It's like, those people... You can feel sorry for them. Like, Kingdom Hearts fans are like, what are we complaining about? Holy shit. We got the KH 20th anniversary trailer, and then that trailer said three things.
It said
yeah, it said Dark Road, it said Missing Link, it said KH4. Since then, we had Dark Road. We got the finale of that. That wasn't that long ago. Like in the grand scheme of things, we had a massive chunk of content for Dark Road.
Was that not? I felt like ages ago.
It was what? It was August of 2022 or something. 2021.
Really?
No. It was after that.
2021.
It was after that.
2022? Damn.
Yeah, I think 2022. I'm pretty sure August 2022. So it's been 2.5 years since that. I can pull it up. But
Well, no, because I think I do remember playing in New Zealand, and I think I moved in 2021.
Okay. Yeah, if I had content live, I should have a YouTube stream of it. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, Dark Road's finale is in August 2022. Yeah, there you go. 26th of August 2022. That's when I was streaming it. So yeah, it's been 2.5 years since that. Since then, we've also had 3 betas for Missing Link. Like, I know people don't give a shit about the mobile games, but like,
yeah,
I'm sorry, we have had Kingdom Hearts content. Like, it's not like it's gone. We've not heard from it in 1,000 days. Yes, we have. Just because you're closing one ear off doesn't mean they're not talking at us. Like, I'm sorry, we have had content.
Yeah.
And I am biased as the mobile guy. Sorry, I've been talking too much.
I can see you getting amped. No, I think also the other thing is we have had like correspondence from Kingdom Hearts, or from even Square Enix. Like we got the message from Nomura like a couple months ago, or maybe a month ago. I don't know.
Yeah, go on.
The BBS. Oh, actually, recently, like a few weeks.
The Crossroads one, yeah, for BBS's anniversary. Yeah.
That was really recent. I don't know. I think I've also like I'm really detached from the whole space as well. So like I don't even know. I don't know. I'll see like Kingdom Hearts trending, and I'm like, oh, there must have been a new trailer, and it's like, no.
It's the same post every 3 weeks. Going, brr. Yeah.
I will defend Metroid Prime though, because Metroid Prime fan, we got Metroid Prime 3, and then we got the collection, like I think a couple of years later. Then we were like, all right, Metroid Prime 4 is coming.
Yeah.
And then they had nothing. And then we had the trailer, and then they're like, actually, we're scrapping the whole project. We're going to start over.
Wasn't it just the logo for a while? It was just like...
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Oh, yeah, we just... This year, right?
I feel like certain fans are allowed to complain. I don't think... As a Kingdom Hearts fan, I don't think we're allowed to complain. That's my point of that. We're not allowed to complain yet. It's...
there's so much accessibility to it, I feel like, too. Like, they have the story so far as well released on multiple... Like, Xbox now has it. PC has it.
All these PC and Steam releases are happening. Everyone's so thrilled. And they're like,
I do understand.
Where's Kingdom Hearts? Like, it's here. I'm sorry. You don't want to look at certain aspects of it. It still exists.
Yeah. But I am excited. I mean, okay. In the defense of fans, I will say, their trailer did say 2024. So I will hold them to that. But I also... As a developer, when you have to push things out, you got to push things out. So, like, I feel like there needs to be mutual understanding. Like, yes, the fans can be angry, but also the devs can take more time. Especially if, like, you want to make a better product. Like, of course, I'll give you all the time in the world.
Yeah.
You know, like, So I think there's mutual respect on both sides.
I guess I'm so accustomed to, like, being there for Union Cross and Dark Road, and, like... begging, praying, and waiting for each new piece of like story content, and guess what? Delay. Only in Japan this week. Delay. Like, I'm so used to this. I am so. The fact they said 2024, I'm like, okay, it won't, but sure. Well, so no, I did think we were gonna get it, and then once it was like we'd left August, I'm like, there's no chance we're getting this. You don't imagine spending all that time working on developing this game. And then you release it in the dead of winter. It's like you're trying to copy Pokemon Go. I don't know. So again, I'm referring back to this, but it's like you have to copy its strategy. Like you don't just clone the product and then go ha! And just throw it at the market. It's like you have to have some strategy behind its launch. It is a game where you're encouraged to go outside and do shit in the real world. It wants you to form habits. It wants you to become part of its daily the daily routine should involve, okay, I'm going to work. I want to have this thing. I'm going for a walk. It's nice outside. I'm going for a bike ride. Whatever. I'm going to the park. I'll have Missing Link with me. It's like they need you to make that part of the regular routine. That's why it's like all of these gacha games, whenever you come in, they like shower new players with all this bullshit. It's like, yeah, free shit. It's because they want, but like on a regularly dripped out basis, right? It's like every day you get a bunch of new shit that old players haven't had because they want you to come back. They want you need to make this part of your habits. so that once
Yeah.
the free shit it dries up, you already feel like you're invested. Oh, well, I've already spent 30 days, an hour a day playing this thing. Well, it'd be a shame to waste all that. I better stick with it. It's like, you need to form habits. You're not going to do that if it's goddamn winter. You're not going to go
Yeah.
outside. It's just not going to
Well,
happen.
it's
So
also
like,
it's not even just the free players, right?
but
Once
it's
you get the
everyone.
paid-
Yeah,
Yeah. Hoyoverse is like really good at that.
Sure.
I feel like they have mastered the art of both reining in free fans and paid fans.
Sure.
Like, they
but
got that
everyone
down
else will be
pat.
taking note, right? It's like you don't. I love the series to death, and if every single year we could have a new console release that was single player experience and it was amazing, it was wonderful, great. We don't live in that world. I'm sorry, we just don't live in that world. The industry
Yeah.
has evolved so much, like to the point where I genuinely feel, like, how lucky are we to even continue to be getting games? Like some franchises just die. They're just
Yeah.
gone. They can't survive this. How can... It's not the PS3 days anymore where you could just kind of, customers seem to demand, or at least the perception from developers is that customers seem to demand insanely high fidelity graphics. Like, people will, Total
get
Biscuit
that.
used to have videos where he would stare, rest in peace, legitimately, I'm not trying to talk shit, but like, this is such an old example now, but like, people would stare at walls and like make sure every single pixel looked, this texture on this wall I never meant to look at doesn't look good, or points off there, and it's like, you've kind of taught developers this lesson that they're kind of unlearning now. Like, it's taken a while, like, your Fortnites and your Minecrafts and everything are massive, but it's like, man,
What's wrong with Fortnite?
nothing. But that's what I'm saying, and I think people are finally starting to understand that it's like this high fidelity, it must be realistic to real life, perfect graphics that are pushing the sales of new consoles, blah blah blah. It's like, it doesn't have to be that way, and we're finally getting there.
Yeah.
But
I think there was for a while. Yeah, keep going.
No, I'm ranting, but like,
Oh, it's good.
like games. So to my earlier thing of like, I love a new console experience every year. It's like, oh, where's the mobile games? Where are they? Where are they? Where are the handheld games? It's like, the industry isn't there anymore. I'm sorry, but like, everyone has, how much of the human population has access to a mobile phone that can play, quite good games? It's like, at a time where the DS was selling like friggin' hotcakes and so many gamers had a DS, if not two, it made sense to make games for the DS. And if Sony goes, hey, we want that as well, like, I don't know if there's some sort of deal worked out where like, can you make us a game for our handheld system as well? Maybe that will push sales of a PSP. It makes sense to do that. It makes sense to develop for that platform. But like, if there's no real like handheld equivalent anymore, and you don't want to make, you don't have the budget to be constantly cranking out these AAA games of this 5+ year development cycle, like, I'm sorry, but the
Well, even
mobile's
then,
where it is.
yeah.
That's what you have to develop for, and the money you make. Like, you just brought up Hoyoverse. You don't think the entire industry is staring at them going like, holy fucking shit, can we have some of that cash, please? Instead of taking a gamble of like a 5-year massive development, millions of dollars in investment. I mean, we've got what, Concord? What's the new one? Like, that's always going to be the perfect example for the next decade of like,
Concord like fail really badly
to the tune of like
so
what,
bad.
millions, if not nearly billions of dollars of massive
Crazy.
investment, and then it just dead, gone. That's all gone
Well,
forever. That's gone.
I was just like, man, why? It was about 14 days and then just recalled it.
Gone.
Like, how do you justify that? I feel like
And,
you
like,
could at least generate something with it. Oh, that's crazy to me.
But it's like a drop in the ocean, right? Let's even if they get a decent amount of players coming in, so compared to the billions they lost, like, was it like 400 million or something? I'm trying to like, I remember reading
don't
an article.
remember. It was like
I think
crap ton. For me,
in
I don't
total,
know.
yeah. Is it Concord 400 million?
Concord.
And it's like, that's the biggest example, but it's like, Sony can eat a loss. Yeah, 400 million. Sony, in theory, can eat a loss like that. Do you think if Square, someone like that, can do that? That destroys the company. That's gone. It's over.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think they could do that.
Like, they're still reeling from the Avengers, probably. Like, Avengers was a huge loss for them. It's probably
I thought
stuff
it was
like
a good game. Oh no, I'm thinking of Guardians.
Guardians of the
of the
Galaxy. Yeah,
Galaxy.
no, but
Yeah.
Avengers, like this massive live service thing. They have the rights. They blah blah blah. Here's Troy Baker and all these fucking people. No one gave a shit. It wasn't a fun game. Like, it just I played it. I played a lot of it. I kind of
really?
struggled through it because I'm like, well, I don't want to. I'm an idiot where I'm like, if the trophy list is on my profile and it's sitting at not 100%, I'm like, I gotta get this thing off. I hate it. I hate looking at it. It's bothering me right now. I didn't get the platinum. It's bothering me. But like,
is it-
so I played way more than it then I enjoy it. Like I stopped enjoying it like 2 hours in. I'm like, this is awful. Like what? It truly is not fun. It's not fun to play. And
Was it like
live
Destiny?
service, it was inspired by that. Like you pick a character, and they all have different gear that drops. It's like fucking Captain America. You beat up a robot. But every single enemy is the same 3 robots, by the way. You play the entire game, you're beating on the same 3 goddamn robots every time. Anyway, but then they'll drop bits of Captain America's unique shield. It's like, no, every single one drops a different piece of the shield or whatever that gives it a 3.3% frost damage increase. You're like, what are we doing? It's like the enemies are awful. The combat's just unsatisfying because the HP bars... Anyway, live service, they're just chasing these live service trends, and it's like to the extreme detriment. But with a mobile game like this, where the budget is way less, they're happy to roll the dice on a mobile game, right? It's like your entry fee to gamble is way less, but maybe you still get that completely explosive results from it. Like, I feel like Kingdom Hearts fans just refuse to live in reality. Like, I'm sure they would love to be every single day making massive AAA games. Sure. I mean, in as much as like as a creator, you want to experiment with different things, but like, that's not where we live. We don't live in that world. It's over. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I almost think though, because I feel like when Kingdom Hearts first released, right?
Yeah.
They were on a really intense release cycle. I feel like they were releasing a game every year or two. It was almost like Square Enix's like experimental child. Like they were like,
sure,
go make a game about cards, or go make a game about I don't know, some like weird command deck kind of thing.
Sure.
And it kind of like evolved and snowballed into this actually big franchise. I feel like it kind of crescendoed with Kingdom Hearts 3. And then now they're kind of like pulling the reins back, and they're like, okay, we can't just kind of try new things. And especially with the market now, it's like you have to make something good, or you will see, stakeholders pull out or whatever. But now I think it is a bit more like, especially because like they were re-releasing a lot of their old games, kind of like how we're seeing with Final Fantasy VII. I feel like they're releasing like, didn't they just re-release Crisis Core or something?
Crisis Core Reunion was out 2 and a bit.
Or Rebirth? Which one just came out? I don't know.
Rebirth, but they're like doing like a trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, even though like they've changed, I haven't played either one. I don't know. But like, they do have this trend of like redoing things, but then like adding a little bit. So like with the final mixes and stuff, and then the 1.5 remix, the 2.5 remix, like they had a lot of backlog content on different consoles that they could port.
Yeah.
I feel like there was this kind of like illusion that we're getting constant content, even though it was like, well, we actually kind of already had the content. It's just in a different format now.
Sure.
Whereas now we're kind of like run dry, and it is kind of like a quote unquote drought. But it's like, I don't know. I don't see it that way. Because I see it as more of like, okay, well, we had the kind of like the wellspring of content coming out, but like now we have new content. Like, it's not. Do you see? I guess. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, yes, it's new, quote unquote, but it's like it's kind of just like wrapped differently. Like, so in reality, there's only like 13 games over
more or less
25 years, or I don't know.
More or less, yeah.
So I don't know. That's like 2 games every year. We're kind of on track, right? If we just got Dark Road, then the next one's coming out. But I can see from people's perspective, like, oh, the only new game was Melody of Memory in the past 5 years. Right. It's like, oh, well, we had the end of Union Cross, we had the beginning and end of Dark Road, we had betas for Missing Link.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's kind of hard to. I don't agree with any kind of like developer harshing, because it's, I don't know. It's like they're just doing their job, but I don't know.
Yeah, I guess because people are now saying that like the wait for Kingdom Hearts 3 wasn't that bad, and by comparison to what we're going through now, and I'm like, people are out of your minds. So. Like, you want to talk about reusing old content? It's like, we'd be praying for just a scrap of new information, and I'll say, because I can always sympathize with this, because I was one of the people at the time that, like, what is Kingdom Hearts Key? I don't know what that is. It's this browser thing, and nothing's happening there. Like, I was keeping track, but it seemed like absolutely nothing was happening there. It's like, oh, now the Chirithy's talking to another Chirithy out the window. Who gives a shit? I don't care. Like, what's happening?
Right. Right.
But in that time, like, here comes 1.5 on the PS3, here comes 2.5 on the PS3, here goes 1.5 plus 2.5 on the PS4, and it's like, everyone's like, oh, yay, new Kingdom Hearts stuff, and it's like, no, it's not. Like, I love them. I goddamn love the remixes. I used to pray for them every day. Like, I want to be able to, play this final mix content, and it's like it was awesome. And the PS4 version coming out, fixing a ton of the loading times, brilliant. Like I love the PS4 versions of those games, but that it's not new content. It's not new Kingdom Hearts content. And I feel like at the time, we were getting Kingdom Hearts Key. This is the time between DDD and I guess Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out. We were getting Kingdom Hearts Key updates, which eventually transitioned into Unchained Key updates.
Unchained, yeah.
And
Union
0.
Cross,
yeah, and then 0.2 was on the horizon, right? So it was like back cover.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
back cover 0.2, and then DDD was packaged into that. But it's like in terms of the new content we had during that period, it was the Kingdom Hearts Key updates and 3 hours of 0.2, and I like 0.2, and I guess back cover, an hour of back cover. It's like we had all of that time between DDD and Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out with only like a few hours of content, and it just felt like, I don't know,
even
compared to now.
Yeah,
it was meant to be the Ground Zeroes thing. Sorry, yeah. I want to take your point.
No, yeah, just that 0.2 was like released early to kind of satiate fans, right?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be, I think it was supposed to be the beginning or like right after the Hercules, because it was
Allegedly.
like 2.8, right? And then 0.2 was supposed to take place sometime, and then 3. And then they kind of just like took that slice out and was like, here you guys go. Please enjoy this.
Yeah. Did you play Metal Gear Solid? Are you aware of the Metal Gear series at all?
I watched the first 3. I think I've seen the first 3. Yeah.
As like gameplay movie kind of cutscene movies.
Okay. I haven't played them, but yeah.
So Metal Gear Solid 5 is the same thing. It was going to be released on the PS3 and then PS4, and they chopped off the first, I don't know, just a couple hours of that. They called it Ground Zeroes, funnily enough. And made it its own release. Like they released it as its own separate title, but it's 100% the prologue to Metal Gear Solid 5. Like that's exactly what it is. They just cut it off. I almost wonder if like that gave Square permission to be like, we can do that, like, because we'll do that. That sounds great.
See, yeah, they do. Yeah,
it's exactly what they did. They copied it exactly. Like it's highly replayable. Ground Zeroes. Like it's like you beat the story of it, and then it's like an arcade mode after that. It's like different challenges set on the same map that you kind of can replay over and over. It's honestly more of a full game kind of than 0.2 is, because 0.2 like you can play it again on crit, and then there's like the Zodiac challenges and the collectible fashion piece of stuff. But
I really liked their checklist, like
with
the whole
little like mini quests you could do,
aesthetic changes you could add to your character. It's like it seems so weird that they built that entire functionality and then just didn't put it in Kingdom Hearts 3. Like
you do have
all
to
the
wonder
code's in there
if it was thought about right.
Yeah. I think they ran out of time, honestly, with that game. But
with 3, sure.
So I think I can never get this right, but I feel like they started it on the Lumen engine or whatever was their current, and then they had to like switch to Unreal Engine midway through, and so like learning a new engine, I think I've said that already. Like it's quite a lot. Like,
sure.
It's a big endeavor, and so most it got chopped off because there's a lot of stuff I feel like they could have done. That's like in the code as well, like stuff they built out and then just didn't implement. Or it could have been like, this game's way too big, we gotta like cut back and like kind of put in what needs to be in. Like, I can also see that as well, because you don't want to lose focus of like the gameplay,
like scope,
then you kind of
whatever, just blends out of control.
Exactly. And I think they kind of did that with the attraction flows, because it's like they're never really explained.
Yeah.
Even the heart binders, it's like, okay, they're like kind of tossed in, and then they can get developed more.
We have to have summons, so here you go.
Yeah.
But at least in KH2, it's like you walk up to Merle and he's like, "Oh, you can use these little use these little gems and you can summon your friends." That's all I need. Just some in-universe justification. Same with like even KH2 drive forms. Oh, you're wearing these special clothes and they can gain new abilities. Cool. That's all I need. Just give me some level of justification, and then now you're a giant train.
Yeah.
Now you're on a carousel. Like, why? Nope. Because you press triangle. That's why. Oh. Because because it was in the original trailer in E3 2015, 13, whatever. Because you're on a giant train. You therefore have to be in KH3. Even though they're like, "Fuck, we don't want to do this anymore." Like, sorry, this is the original vision for the game. Here you go. That's just also like people shit on live service games, and I get like from all my defending of it, it's like I really do get it. Like I got started on a free to play channel going like, "This game seems predatory as shit. Don't give it all your money." Here's how to do the content for free. It's like I'm antithetical to like my own desire here of like there should be a good mobile game, but also don't fund it. Like I'm a walking contradiction. But
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like if it's anyway, I feel like if it's fair and the money's worth spending, then. But this is off topic. For like the price of a full AAA game for like some in-game gems that
That's
you might do
ridiculous.
3 or
That's
4 or
crazy.
5 pulls on that stupid. It's the value proposition doesn't make any sense at all. If it was like charged less, I would happily pay over like a year if it wasn't just so egregious. Anyway,
I find it
Um,
hard to spend anything on mobile games.
Yeah.
Honestly. I even find it hard now to spend money on games though. So maybe it's like a I don't know
Getting
reality
older.
shift.
Priority shift.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Even like your whole like light comment before we started streaming, and you're like, yeah, I got this thing for $20 instead of 80. I'm like, bro, totally would have picked that up because it's like practical, where it's
Right.
like physical. You know, it's like I could use this for a bunch of different things. But if it's like, if I buy the PS5 version, and I have to play it on PS5, and then I have to pay for the PS5 service, and then I got to pay for the internet. It's like, it's so like tied down.
It's just a money pit. Yeah.
So, yeah, very interesting. Anyways, back on topic.
I guess
Mission
yeah.
Link.
Well, I think it's
I don't
almost like
know.
evolved into
What other
like
topic,
the
yeah.
drought period now is more the topic, I guess, because
Yeah,
that
yeah.
then leads into like, well, okay, that's Missing Link, but then where's KH4? And to me, it's like,
I'm
they're
surprised they
not-
showed it so early.
sure,
I was not expecting that.
sure, and people like will quote the. I'm so hesitant to quote any translation by a fan because like as much as I love them, I don't think they're ever.
Oh, they're Japanese.
Well, I think it's like one of the
Articles.
translations says like, oh, we had to show something because fans were speculating that it might be Verum Rex coming next, or might be KH4, so we wanted to say that Kingdom Hearts 4 is the next title, blah 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 blah.
Oh,
and,
interesting.
and it's
they
coming,
even said that.
and it's coming pretty soon, so we were confident to talk. I don't know, I'm misquoting here. I don't really
Yeah.
put a ton of stock in those, unfortunately, but
Yeah, I think it's difficult because right, if you get someone that's from Japan that translated, then like the English translation, like their translation to English might not be, well read either. But if you get someone from English translating Japanese, then you also get the meaning kind of indiscernible. Like it's a very hard thing to balance. I do know that Jason from Super Spaghetti Bros.
shuts up.
Yeah, shout out, longest running. They he is like learning how to read and speak. Like he's really proficient actually. So I'd honestly be pretty keen. Again, like I'd take it with a grain of salt, but I definitely would trust his to a point his interpretations of what they say. But again, I think he would also say, I only know so much. Like this is what I understand it to be. But there's probably other meanings to it. Like I
Right.
think he'd be open to that.
Yeah, I
saying
think
that.
I sort of hate that you just get one quote and then it's just the entire fandom is treating it as like gospel that this is 100%. Like, what was everyone seemed to be thinking that like KH4 is definitely the last one based on some mistranslation, the translation of an interview. It's like, and then a couple of people say
Oh really?
it,
I
and then
totally
it's
missed
just like wildfire. Everyone's saying it like, oh, this is the end. This is the end of Game Months. The end of Game Months. It's like,
that.
okay.
Didn't they? I think they said that about Kingdom Hearts 3, right? They said that
That's
was
what
the end.
again. No, they didn't say that, but people took it to mean that,
Oh,
like
that's
the
what
end
I'm
of the
saying, yeah.
Xehanort
People were
saga.
like-
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh,
It was like
yeah.
there's so much stuff going on with the Union Cross and like
Yeah, they don't
Dark
care.
Road.
They just don't care. Yeah, same. It's like they're
Even
just.
like Ava is like, where's she at?
The Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer opens with like the Lost Master Saga, and
Yeah.
are we to just assume that means one game? That's it. The saga is Kingdom Hearts 4. That's it. Okay,
I
it's
bet.
over now.
Because wasn't there exactly? Oh, actually, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna be missing this. I should just Google it. But I think there's 13 games in the Xehanort Saga. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like 7 games in the Lost Master arc or whatever it's called. Missing Master. What is it called?
Lost Master. Master.
Who do you think
What?
that is? I guess it could be multiple meaning.
Well, yeah, I mean,
But I think it's Hava and the Master.
you,
And
sorry,
Sora.
do you mean the two people up on in the trailer, or do you mean
Oh.
just who this the Lost Master is referring to in total?
Yeah, like the Lost Master arc.
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
like
I assume all the foretellers,
Is it-
and then I guess you could say potentially the Union
well, the
Ladies as
foretellers
well,
aren't
but-
missing anymore, right?
Right, but
They're-
they were lost, right? Like the Remind cutscene is like Master Masters is talking to Xehanort, and he's like, "I'm a lost master," which refers back to like the opening KH3 cutscene. You're like, you've heard of the Lost Masters,
Lost.
right? The ones
That's
that the
plural,
Keyblade.
right?
Sure, but isn't that what this is?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm trying
Yeah,
to pull up
I
the
get-
trailer
yeah.
now.
Yeah, because I think Xehanort, or not Xehanort, what's his name? Ericus. No, I think he does say you've heard of the Lost Masters or something.
It's saying,
And
not
then,
saying it's Ericus, yeah.
yeah. Oh, oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Never heard of him. Where do you...
Yeah. It's like, I think you have. You're saying that really oddly.
Yeah, he's saying you can drop the facade. I think is what he says about it. Like, yeah, of course you know who they are. A prospective Keyblade wielder should know that. Master should know this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's like everyone hears, again, some mistranslation of like... It was just like we're looking, as you get older as a creator, you sort of like look towards the end of your ability to create in that capacity. And it's like, yeah, keep a fire ending. Like, it's just, I really can't stand the way people just grasp onto the first thing. And even if like it's like the headline of a video or something, it's like people don't watch that, but then they just regurgitate it anyway. It's like, oh well, it's the headline of the video. That must be what the truth is. Even if the video is
but that is very rampant. I feel like in all
absolutely
news media right now.
Absolutely, there's just no level of like thought seem to be happening at all. Just straight into aggressive.
Well, it is really hard like to discern that truth, right? Like it's just you just put out the headline. You don't really have to deal with the consequences of people's.
Why bother?
Yeah, but I think Missing Link definitely this year. Like I don't even know. Well, I actually have you heard the rumor that they're porting it to be like a console game?
Given the way that Ever Crisis works, the Final Fantasy VII mobile game, I would not be surprised at all if
is Ever Crisis ported to console?
It's on Steam as well. So you share the same account, and it's exactly you literally share the same account. I would not be surprised at all if Missing Link ends up working in a very similar way. Where to me it's almost like perfect. It's like you would go out for the day. You would take your mobile's in your pocket constantly as you visit all the spots. You gain all the AP, which is the resource that you spend on, whatever, fighting Heartless and other stuff I don't want to get into.
Work like Pokemon Plus. Poku.
Kind of.
You don't have to spin the thing.
You don't have to. You can put it into like what they call
mode?
hands-free mode. There might be another one as well. But basically you can just sit in your pocket with the screen off, and as you kind of like walk, drive, take the bus around, it'll just be like boop boop boop, interacting with the various shit.
It's gonna be like Dark Road where like it's just dimming the screen, or could it be like a background app?
No, from what I played, it was only dimming the screen. Yeah, it still has to be the prior. Yeah, which is annoying, but
yeah,
and also like
that's still pretty cool though.
So the thing is, I had it on a tablet and I was taking my phone around. Like I would have it on the tablet and it was just sitting there doing its thing while I was like free to use my phone. That was the only thing. Like, it's a hog. It's a complete hog. Like you can't be doing so. And I probably would do that. I'd almost like have a second phone that just a shitty old one that can just sit there in the background and run it.
I have that actually. That's a good idea.
So yeah, I mean, but not everyone does, right? So I'm like, oh, it's fine. Just have two devices. People are like, sorry, no, I don't.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to. That's ridiculous.
That is pretty. Yeah, that's a tall order.
Exactly. Yeah. So I can definitely understand complaints like that. Yeah, it just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right. I don't think we're hearing about Kingdom Hearts 4 until we hear about Missing Link. I don't think they're just gonna jump the gun and start talking about 4. Like, it's the same thing. When you purchase Kingdom Hearts 4, assuming there's no DLC, but maybe there will be, it's a one-time transaction and it was $60, $70. Here you go, once, right? If they are good at their job, they can get people into the mobile game for years and years and years and years, making, like, in theory, what they want, hopefully regular recurring purchases. Like, why would you not want to funnel? You want people into that. Like, you want people in that as much as you possibly can. That, yeah, I'll show you. Hang on.
Well, yeah. Do you think the reason because I feel like Dark Road was like setting up to do that, but then just kind of lost the player base?
I am pulling up a graph exactly right this very second to show you exactly proof of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just pull.
Because I remember, I was like, oh, this makes sense. You're gonna shift your player base, but then like nobody played it, and then they just released the entire solo experience.
Yeah. So I think the way the story goes. So Bit Group is the company that's making Kingdom Hearts Key, Union Cross, and eventually made Dark Road. So
you
you
are you sharing it on your screen?
I'm getting it.
okay.
Trying to multitask.
No, yeah, sorry. I'm
So
the worst at multitasking.
I think they obviously see the writing on the wall. Union Cross is coming to an end, and a lot of people are probably playing that for the story, right? I'm sure the people that enjoy the weekly, recurring blah 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 blah. I'm sure there's people like that. I was, probably consider myself one of them, or at least like used to that. But when the story's coming to an end, that's probably the end of the app, right? So what do? They say, well, we have a current regular paying ecosystem of people here. How do we maintain that when Union Cross goes away? How do we keep those people around? And I think they went to Square Enix and said, what can we do? What can we do? Like, how can we continue keeping these people around? And the interview goes, Tatsuya Nomura says, just trying to find it now so the stream can see it, but basically, like, they came to me with an idea, and I had this idea for Xehanort's Past that the team wasn't super interested in, like, bringing, and I guess the team is, console developers. So they go, okay, perfect. We'll tell Xehanort's Past in a mobile game format. People misquote that as like the entire project is Bitgroove's idea. It's like, no, they're not. They don't get to interject pieces of the Kingdom Hearts story. It's like they reached out. Right. Nomura said, "Oh, here you go. I have this idea for Xehanort's backstory. It's not gonna ever be told in a console form, but that's mobile game. Perfect way of delivering that content." So they have probably the skeleton, the basic blueprints for a story, and then you fill stuff out, and then you connect it into Union Cross because you're already developing for that app, and blah 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 blah. And then Dark Road is born. And I think the inciting incident to do that would have been Kingdom Hearts 3's release, and I'm really trying my hardest right now to find the graph, which literally has the players on it.
Yeah.
2, 4, 3, 2, 7, 2. Okay, there it is. So, yeah. Okay, so I'll show you what the spikes are. So, open with photo viewer. Okay. I don't know if you can see this on stream or not, but like, me and a lovely team of volunteers that I owe so very much to were counting the players on the Union Cross app, right? I don't know can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see it.
So,
damn, that's high.
Look at Kingdom Hearts 3 release. So the week that came out, that's like nearly 230,000 people were on the app that week. If you think like, holy shit, if some interest comes into this game, that's a ton of people, and all we have to do is keep them around. And that's, potentially regular recurring people. 230,000. If they
dropped off.
Basically instantly. Because at the time, to me, they didn't have any way of catching people up. There was interesting stuff happening. We were, I think, about to see Rain. I think we just seen her in Japan, and we were gonna see her pretty soon in global. But to reach that point, you had a 700 quest wall in front of you. You had to play every single quest.
That's right. I forgot about that.
You couldn't skip any quest at all. You had to like slog through this entire wall, and it was like, hey, I don't want to do that. I want to just like, you had to level up your keyblades. That was miserable. You had to spend AP. The AP restriction might have been gone at that point. I can't remember, but you probably had to spend AP to like actually play the quest. It was like horrible. And they're like, guess what? No one stuck around. It's like the pull rates probably weren't that great either. I don't know if it had been rebranded as Union. I think it had been rebranded as Union Cross at that point. Yeah, so like definitely. The pulls were better than they were as Unchained, but they weren't as good as like they eventually would have been when obviously when the app was shutting down. They were just like it was a fire sale. Everything must go. Yeah. But it wasn't that bad.
That's like it's like 100K, right? Over no, a little bit under.
Oh, you mean back here?
A little bit over 100K, right?
Yeah.
Between a month.
Yeah, in April. So January in April, down to 100K, and then just. Okay, so sorry, people can't see my little lines. So the green line is the total number of players that did just one quest. It would let you see how many lux people in different unions earned. So I had lovely volunteers from each union, so I was in Leopardus, that would just look up, okay, what's the minimum amount of lux earned? And it'd be like 1 lux. And so if you did any quest at all, you would finish a quest by killing a final enemy, right? So even the lowest enemy in the game would give you 1 lux. So that would then be counted as, okay, there are 4,000 people that played in Ursus this week. Okay, cool. Add it on the graph. So there's the 5 lines there for the different unions. Leopardus and Anguis were always like almost identical. So you can probably see only a blue line down there with like a little faint bit of yellow underneath. It's because they're practically the same. Like every week they were almost identical. It was crazy. Vulpes was by far and away the most popular. But anyway, combine the 5 unions, you get the green line, which is the total number of players in a given week. And yeah, like I said, they didn't have any catch-up features at all, and so no one stuck around. And then a couple
And
come
when
back.
did they introduce that? Because I know at
I'd
some
have to go
point
back
they
and look.
allowed you. Yeah, because I think I remember playing where you had to play each quest, and I got stuck on a couple of them.
Sure.
And then there was one moment in time where like you could just skip to the next cutscene.
Yeah, the quality of
Yeah.
life update. Yeah, if a quest was marked down the bottom right with a little cutscene icon on it, that meant that some
Yeah.
level of cutscene was going to play as in part of the quest. Cool. But the update was you could basically, once you did one of those quests, every quest until the next one with a cutscene instantly unlocked.
Yeah.
So that could be like 5, 10, 15, like 20 quests
Could be,
sometimes.
yeah.
It could be a shit ton. Instead of being
Yeah.
like stuck in Agrabah for,
Yeah,
25
Agrabah.
awful quests or just running around the desert looking for like little sparkles. Like,
Yeah.
whoop, skip. I'm done. I'm
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
here.
I remember that. Yeah.
And then-
Honestly, though, it's quite charming. Like looking back on it.
but
I
if
do
you're a new
miss-
player coming in, going,
But
I
yeah,
want to see what's
no.
going on. You're not having it. You're 700
They're like-
quests in. You're like, oh my god, I'm still looking around for this shitty. Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
having a good time. But again, too
Yeah.
little, too late. I think by the time they introduce that shit, no, people are
Yeah.
giving it the one chance
Way
they were
too
going to
much.
give it. No, never again. But I think Dark Road was pitched on the idea of like it could be a whole new game. We can have this level of people come back again, and if that level of people comes back in, like the people that already tried out Union Cross, they'll be paying again because they want to get into this Dark Road. They'll be wanting in on the ground floor when it's brand new,
Yeah.
and then a bunch of new people coming because it's a brand new title. And like, man, the second gameplay was released for that game, everyone just went, nope. Sorry,
Yeah.
not everyone. The vast majority of people just went, nope, I'm good. This sucks.
I did like it, but
Hey,
yeah.
you're
it was
the
not
guy.
for everyone.
And when I said nearly everyone, I'm like, what KH is the guy that likes it. And as a
do like
fun,
that.
little like Tamagotchi that would sit on the bottom of your computer screen while you're working, sure.
Yeah.
That thing
Yeah.
hogged your entire phone
Yeah.
to just
Yeah.
sit there and endlessly grind. And it's like the story was about a guy looking for these missing people in stealth mission, reconnaissance, information gathering out. The gameplay was, let's sit here for all of time and grind against Heartless. Let's kill 100,000 Heartless before we
so
go.
Interesting.
It's like,
yeah.
what are you thinking? Like, so antithetical.
Yeah.
If, people bitch
But it
about
was-
Union Cross, but it's
yeah.
like, Union Cross was...
It was at least interactive. Yeah.
But it was like, we need to gather Lux. We need to gather more than anyone else. Even the, like, predatory bullshit was kind of part of the story. It was
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
shit, like, if you open your wallet and spend a bunch of money and, like, basically gamble away on medals...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got it, but at what cost?
And more luxury.
$120. That was the cost.
Yeah.
You fell to darkness. I'm sorry. You would have been one of the ones that was so desperate for power that you fell to
Yeah.
darkness. I'm sorry. You canonically... you didn't make it through the war. You're a little darkling somewhere. I'm really sorry to tell you. Pay-to-play
Oh,
players.
man. Yeah.
I love you guys. You supported the game. You didn't make it to the war. You're
Someone
one of
had-
the little
someone
gremlin
had
guys.
I think I only bought 2 medals. I think I bought
there you
a
go.
VIP. I know. I'm
But that's
tainted
it.
by darkness.
But if it feels like it's worth it, then it's like, okay, it was $15 twice, right? So the amount of money you paid for Kingdom Hearts 3, you paid 50% of that for 2 weeks of VIP. That's a couple of medals, right? A couple of PNGs.
Yeah.
And some
Yeah.
extra jewels to get more
It felt
PNGs.
nice.
Sure, but like the development equivalent, right? Of like $30 would have got you
Yeah,
half
no,
of Kingdom
fair,
Hearts 3,
yeah.
a massive AAA game with all these worlds in Unreal and cutscenes and voice
Yeah.
acting and music and blah 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 blah. Or the 2 weeks of VIP, the $30 you spent on that for a couple PNGs. Like, to me, it's like the value proposition. I just cannot resolve it. And some people would argue AAA games are too cheap. It's like, well, maybe the price is slowly going up, but fuck me, mobile games are out of control. I can't support that at the current pricing it's at. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. That is pretty ridiculous.
It's just
yeah.
awful.
Hey, Mono, I do like Auto Battle Sim. Because then I can just put it up and watch it while I work. Like a nice flow state. But no,
but
for
that's
the
not a-
majority of people.
But it's not a game.
It's not a game, right? Yeah.
And it's not a game to
But I
spend
do
money on. Are you
earn-
kidding me? Oh, I want to be more efficient at grinding Heartless endlessly. I want to bored out of my mind already. I wish I was slightly more
Yeah.
efficient at grind. No. Who the fuck was spending money on that? There was no
Right.
like, you need the whales to feel like they're better than other people, right? Like, I'm like, the long and the short of it is I want to pay to be the best at this
Yeah.
thing.
The very best.
Like no one ever was. But but there was no competitive. There was no like ranking to see like how
Yeah,
am
that
I even
was-
doing better?
Yeah.
They
Well,
finally
even when they did have
introduced
the
one.
ranking.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. No. Oh, all I remember is that like, if I wasn't up at 4 a.m.
Yep.
then it didn't matter.
It was the tower. So Scarlet Aghaim
Yeah.
would have a 100-floor tower. and you were ranked based on who could clear floor 100 first, not the fastest, first. And then that was the ranking. So if I beat it 5 minutes after, then I get ranked number 1. So you had to be awake for you guys 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. And it's like, what the fuck? Who thought of this? I was laughing. I'm like, it's 3 p.m. for me every single day. Like, I know every month at 3 p.m. I could be playing a game for an hour at that time on a Monday or Tuesday, whatever. That's fine.
Exactly.
Like, and I guess the idea was that, oh no, it'll be so difficult. Only the top people will even be able to like complete. No, you just press pause. You just press pause, buffer your inputs. So you just mash out inputs.
Oh, that's
I found that out within like a day. I'm like, oh, yeah, you can just do this. Every fight's way easier now. Your reaction time as a human typically wouldn't be that like good enough to.
Can't be that fast. I mean, it was ridiculous how fast you had to.
And then you just win.
Well, it's almost like it was intended, right? Like
it
I feel like you could. There's no way you're gonna be able to like do it that quickly.
Unless the genuine thought was only the whaliest of the whales will be able to complete this content.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Sorry. Nope.
Yeah.
Amana, but if you enjoy the Fortnite skins, if that's something you can use for like a decade, however long that game's been running for, Lance, then that's your money to spend it with. It's like that's fine. I just in a mobile game like Dark Road especially doesn't make any. It's terrible. It's such a terrible waste of money. But Union Cross was okay. You might have spent on VIP and had this medal that no one else could get. The entire runtime of the game, you had a thing that no one else could get. It's functionally not useful anymore because it's too weak. But it's a cool thing to have. I can appreciate that it's a cool thing to have, or a unique costume, and that makes you feel, you have a good time. You're role playing as this little avatar. Fine. There was no customization with Xehanort. There was just cards to make you slightly faster but not visually. They didn't do anything.
But you couldn't even see them. Yeah.
No. It was just fuck me. But anyway, I think Missing Link, from what I've seen of it, has learned a lot, and obviously the landscape of gacha gaming and just mobile gaming in general. I shouldn't even call it that. It's like live services. It's everywhere now. It's permeated like every facet of the hobby.
Oh no, I hate it so much.
I mean, I get it, but it's like I truly hate it as well. I truly hate it.
Like I don't know. It's almost like it's not gaming anymore. It's like it's a chore.
It's chores.
Like
I have come in and do your chores.
Yeah.
I sigh. I downloaded Ever Crisis to get the story content because it ties into like the remake trilogy they're doing. And I'm playing it now, and I'm like, oh, fuck, it's like, because it resets at 4 a.m. I'm like, oh my god, it's midnight, I haven't done my fucking chores. I can log in into I'm like, what am I really don't enjoy it. I truly do not enjoy this at all. Like, what am I doing? Like, but I'm in. But I've been playing it for a month, so I'm like, well, I might as well keep going. You know what I mean? That's the habit I've built.
Yeah.
That's what they want. They want, like, you to, now I can't stop. And even if I don't pay them, I can now watch, like, 3 ads a day. And I can at least get some shit for free by watching 3 ads. So it's like, at least they get a little bit of money from me. It's minuscule, but if I do 3 ads a day, over a month, I've watched nearly 100 ads. The game freezes.
Oh my god.
But you know what I mean? But it's like, multiply that out by several thousand people, and it's like, yeah, okay. Even the free-to-play players are chipping in, pulling their weight a little bit here. Yeah. That's the strat. And guess what? Missing Link will have ads. I can guarantee you that right now. It'll be like, if you want 50 joules, click on this. 100%. 100%. Click this button if you want 50 joules. Watch an ad. 100%. Yeah.
Damn.
But that's what. That's the industry. Mono. That's the industry now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. I guess. It's just, I hate ads. I hate ads. So much.
Again, if we lived in like fantasy world where AAA game was still like sustainable on its own, it's just not. Like Square, I love Square. They've been one of the longest running video game like legacy companies. It feels like every year you hear an article where it's like, we're not really too happy with the way that Remake or the way that Rebirth turned out. Like, they're kind of conceding on some grounds that were once sacred. They never would, this multiple platform releases. And I think it's for the betterment of the industry that they're releasing on Steam and other platforms as well. But it's like, they're making concessions that there's some part of them that doesn't want to do it. At least some people in the company don't want to do it. I don't know. I feel like once it's on PC, then mods can run wild, and you can someone like yourself can find all their dirty little secrets that they, might not have had time to sweep under the rug neatly and nicely.
Favorite thing. Yeah, and then find a way to remove ads.
Sure. Never see Pokemon Go. Yeah, Zeon. I'm sure they're paying attention to that as well. I'm sure they are. Sorry, for context,
still going.
Pokemon Go is being sold to a company from Niantic. Sorry, discussing being sold to a company called Scopely,
Oh,
from
really?
Niantic. Yeah, for like a lot. And the fear is that it will just, for all the monetization it currently has, it will just get infinitely worse. But I mean,
Oh.
who knows?
Definitely.
Who knows?
Oh, I would. I don't know. I'd be surprised if it didn't. Go
Sure, I
down.
mean, you don't buy a platform without being like, we want to make money off this. We're spending hundreds of
Yeah.
millions of dollars on it. It's time to
Exactly.
get our money
Yeah.
back out of it. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So I just think people are over freaking out about Missing Link. I know, missing. And then same with Kingdom Hearts 4. It's like, they're fine. I promise you they're fine. It's just, you don't spend 3 or 4 years making a game to then just YOLO throw it out. Like, you have to consider the market and like the conditions for release. You don't just YOLO this shit. It's gonna come
marketing
this
is
summer,
massive.
100%. If we don't, I don't know, we might even hear about it like as early as March. Like, hey, it's coming soon. Get your
Calling it
pre-registration
here.
in. Sure.
Demo.
There you go. Yeah, why not?
On the record.
We haven't even talked about the story of it yet. It's more just like the conditions surrounding it and everything. I don't know. I've wanted to do. I'm really glad we're talking about this because like I've wanted to do it for a while, like a sort of Union Cross Dark Road retrospective of like kind of what went wrong. That's why I made this graph of like here, literally you can see the different points along the graph, like where people came back and then they immediately left again, and it's like Dark Road is hilarious to me. Like just not even 2 weeks, boop, right back down to where it was. Like no one gave a shit. No one gave a shit. Absolutely none. And granted, like asterisks.
Well, you can even see on this graph. It's like you have KH3 released.
Yep.
Then you have KH Remind released. Then you have KH Mom released. Like, there's already 3 games within what, like a year and a half, if that.
Shortish amount of time, yeah.
I mean, okay, I guess you Remind not necessarily is a full game, but it still had quite a bit of content. But like, I don't know. And then also, yeah, Dark Road. So it's like you have like 3.5 games released within 2 years. Like that's quite a lot of content.
Yeah.
As well as an ongoing service. So it's like I don't know.
You were
fans have it good.
Yeah, you were asking the question, by the way, of like, Dark Road released and then was cancelled, and then the remaining content came later. It's like, okay, if I'm going to Square and saying, okay, I want to continue making Union Cross, like you're looking at the Kingdom Hearts 3 number, right? You're looking at that going, we can get that again. If we can get that again, we're fucking laughing. Like that's so awesome. You get, I don't know, that probably is like a regular percentage of people you could say are like paying players versus free to play. Who knows? I'm gonna make it up and up, but like maybe it's like 10%, 15, 20%. But like some will spend a lot, some will spend a regular amount, and some will spend barely ever, and some will just as a point never spend ever. But it's like there's probably a pretty consistent percentage you could look at across the market and be like, it's roughly this per game.
Look at any Kingdom Hearts fan. I have not seen a Kingdom Hearts fan that does not have at least like 10
all the plushies in the world, all the merch, all the necklaces, all everything.
They
100%.
So I can definitely see someone, like their favorite character is I don't know, Pluto or something. Like if the medal comes out for Pluto, you bet they're gonna pull for it.
Yeah.
So, like there's definitely like that. I wouldn't say like micro obsession, but like you have people that want to see their characters. They're gonna pull for that character.
Sure,
I would do that for sure. Like if another Invisible came out or like a Neo shot, like something I've gotten in the past. It's like for sure. There's not a lot of art of that thing. I want to get that and preserve it.
Sure, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe this, but just last week, I was scrolling through, Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and it's like, here comes an ad for, oh my god, Final Fantasy has got a piano concert in Perth in 2 days, and I somehow hadn't heard about it until this moment. I'm like,
oh wow,
I'm going.
Yeah.
Like, I want to support the fact that it's here.
Yeah.
Nothing comes to Perth ever. I'm like, I'm going. Like, we're going. So bought 2 tickets. We went.
Yeah.
Called some friends. Nice. How you going? Oh, they were already going. It's like, oh, amazing. We'll meet you there. Like, yeah, you want to support things. There's that aspect of it, and there's also like the FOMO, especially like that's live service gaming in a nutshell, or the FOMO, right? This thing is here for a week. It's here for 2 weeks. If you want it, you have to get it now. You have to. Maybe it'll come back. Maybe. We don't know. But you better get it now, just in case. They'll always dance around that. Like, oh, a couple things will come back. Maybe your thing might come back. You want to risk it though? Could be a year from now. You want it now, don't you? Like it's all FOMO. It's all.
When Arcane Season 2 came out.
Okay.
But when Arcane first came out, right? I wasn't really into it. Well, I didn't know much about it. And they had Jinx and Vi in the Fortnite shop.
Okay.
I was like, well, I got really into it, and then I realized, oh, they have Fortnite skins in them. So I'm like, oh, season 2's coming out. They're definitely gonna be in the store. And so like I logged on every day, and they didn't have it, and I was like, bro, are you kidding me?
But that now you learn. Now you're like, if I want it, I better buy it
It's like,
instantly.
oh
Right?
yeah,
You've learned
it's
the
crazy.
lesson. That's exactly the lesson they want you to learn, by the way. If there's a thing you want in the future, you better get it while it's here, because you never know if it's coming back. That's the lesson,
Exactly.
but that's the whole point of it. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not supporting it, but I'm like, we know this shit works. It's like that. I think part of being a person that plays a lot of games is that sort of, probably varies by person to person, but a lot of it, for someone like me, is the completionist aspect of it. Of like, it's a game. I got to get all the stuff, right? Like, I have to fulfill the conditions of the game, which is collecting all the shit and beating all the bosses and blah 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 blah, exploring all the areas. And man, the fact that content exists and is made and then goes away if you don't get it in time, that is like poison to me. I'm like, oh, I have to get it. Like, it's the Ever Crisis thing. I don't give a shit. I'm wasting my time grinding out a weapon for a character I don't even know who the hell they are that lowers fire resistance by 20%, and I better grind out 10 copper. Why do I care? Why am I doing this? Because it's my worm in my brain that's like, you don't want to miss out. You might need that stupid gun later on. Like, well, I better get it now then.
What
Like,
if? No, the same thing like with COD, right? Like I play Black Ops 6 or whatever it's on now. 6, I think, yeah. And they would have like these like bi-weekly events.
Yeah.
Like, if you missed them, you didn't.
Yeah.
You know?
That's gone.
And then like, I don't know. There comes a point where I'm just like, yeah, I can't be fucked. I can't be bothered. You know, like. Yeah. But it is like there is that cycle where I'm like, I'm stuck in it. I gotta log in every day. I gotta do the thing. You know, even if I don't use that gun ever. Why am I getting that gun?
Yeah.
Again, like it doesn't even matter. Like why,
it's
I
in
might
you.
want to look at it one day.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what got me to
crazy.
do. I was like, I'm not gonna play Pokemon TCG Pocket. I'm sure it's great, but I'm not gonna play it. And then what got me in was like, oh, there's a Lapras event, and if you don't, you gotta get this card now. And my stupid brain was like, eventually I will play this game, and I'm gonna be sad I didn't get the Lapras because it's like a limited time only. I'm like, well, I bet, and that was it. Now I play every day. It's like stupid. I was like,
oh, you should add me.
I'll add you then. Yeah, I was on zero gacha games for ages, and now I'm like, I play Pokemon Go, which that's still a daily. Now I play Pokemon TCG Pocket, and I'm like into bloody Ever Crisis. I'm like, now I got 3 of these stupid things, and then Duolingo yells at you every day. I'm like, why am I a slave to all these stupid apps that just yell at you every day?
Duolingo. Yeah.
I said to Elise the other day, I was like, I think I'm done. I don't mind it if I want to do it when I want to do it, but I'm over being yelled at by apps to use them on their time. I'm so sick of that shit. Like, what am I doing? Like,
that's an interesting model. Yeah.
But that's what they want. They want like, oh, it's got to be part. Oh, you can't give up your daily streak. That's its whole thing. It's like this
streak.
400 day. Oh, well, it's all this. Why do I care that the number in an app that I hate is gonna be smaller than it was currently? Why do I care? It's just that stupid completionist gamer, and you like, ugh. Hate it.
No. What's interesting about that? Yeah. Oh, but yeah, same mono actually. I think it's the thing skin. I'm like, I don't play. I hate the thing. It's like I'm gonna log in and I'm gonna get the event done.
Gotta get the event.
Of course, it's a free skin. But no, my work actually is doing the same thing. They're gamifying a certain aspect of our work that everybody hates.
Yeah.
And it's working. And I'm like, you are idiots. But it's like, you know, they're not idiots because I understand. I like from a different perspective, right? From you know, doing the dailies every day, like gamifying things works. It's dumb and I hate it, but it works. Like it actually, it's crazy. Yeah.
I think we're just like,
it's very predatory.
We're just inbuilt to have these like reward systems that, you know, release endorphins or whatever at certain predetermined, and it's like now on this global scale we're figuring out how to hijack that and being like, oh, this thing that's meant to keep you alive, yeah, we need that button to be pressed constantly so that you're like, the good feeling comes back by playing our game, and that feeling's going to diminish over time, so we need to crank up the shit so that the same level of good feeling comes out of it again. Or like it's on the horizon. It's like, it feels bad now, but in 2 weeks it'll feel good again. So I better keep playing for 2 weeks. It's like, I think we're in this like
one day, right?
Yeah, that's it. It's like we're in this wild west right now of like, I think eventually this shit will be regulated because it's like,
I don't think so. I mean,
eventually, man. Once we like this understanding of what happens, like what it's doing to our minds.
No, like because what I think, I get from the scientific perspective, like yes, it should be, but from a business perspective.
Sure.
America's okay. This is gonna get political.
Sure,
but America's never gonna let China outcompete them.
Yeah.
Right? And the biggest competition right now is that mobile gacha system.
Sure.
Or live services, whatever you want to classify it as. But like, Hoyoverse is like making what trillions
Sure.
every year. Like
Sure.
it's and so like if America sees it, they're not going to be like, oh, we should really think about the human condition. Like, no,
No
they're
one
gonna
cares.
they're gonna be like, well, we can't be outcompeted by another country. And
I'm
then
going to push the button 3 times as fast as they're pushing it, and really just
but yeah, it's I don't think it's maybe it will get better after a century. Maybe I don't know. I don't see it getting any better anytime soon.
I feel like
But
I don't know. Until people just like become completely used to this, and it doesn't affect them anymore. It's like you're like, oh yeah, I know this tricks. Like if I just to me the winning move is not to play. It's like even if it's the thing I know I enjoy, it's like 14. Like Bio will always say play 14. I'm like I'd love to. That's the problem. I would love to. I wouldn't be able to stop. If there's like limited time events in that, plus like I'm paying a regular subscription for it, so I'm already feeling like I need to recoup my costs off that.
Yep.
I wouldn't leave the house. It's all I would do.
Yeah.
Like, I can't get into that. And it's like I jokingly say like once I complete
to
every
be
single
aware of
Final
that,
Fantasy.
though.
That's why I'm like I hate that I'm even playing Ever Crisis. I'm like, why am I even doing this for? Like just to get the story, but now the hooks are in me. I'm like, fuck, they got me.
Yeah.
Bloody got me. It's like CCG Pocket. I'm like, I know I will enjoy this. That's why I can't play it. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna click all these buttons in my head.
Yeah.
And you'll get some shitty cards, and then eventually you'll get that good one again. You're like, yeah, this feels awesome. Yay, gambling, yay. And like
gambling, exactly. Yeah.
it's like, yeah, because that's gambling. And guess what? Gambling is regulated in a lot of places. Like, because we know what it does to
It's
you.
so interesting though, right? Yeah, like
And we're advertising this to kids. It's like get hooked early. That's the only way I feel like you kinda but I mean
it's like how do you get away with that? Yeah, like
because it's the Wild West right now, because no one knows. Lawmakers are like, what is a Game Boy? Like explain that to me. So Mario's Mario's in the machine, and you're like, no, he's a pixel. Anyway. But like, they're so far behind, and I think these companies know that right now. They're like, let's get away with everything we can get away with until it catches up. It's like, well, like EA was in hot water every now and then for a while, and then we keep dancing around and scooting around and shit. Yeah, Denmark
or like Denmark. Like there's a chatter that I know that like they can't even do Twitch. They can't put money again
in Twitch. Yeah.
So it's like there's some countries that are tuned in.
Sure, America never will be. Australia never will be. But it's like it makes, I don't know. It's like putting citizens, and it's like it's
also a big risk, right? Because you set them up for like, an entire life of addiction. Like
sure, but is
that's crazy?
Yeah, we're this is Kingdom Hearts, fucker.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Getting into political topics.
Yeah. Anyway, it's Missing Link. I hope it's just like that. I hope I get addicted and I hate myself and I don't know. I at least was like, when I felt the urge to do that, it wasn't pull my wallet out. It was like, I want to go for a walk and get some currency. I got at least like the one silver lining of that.
Yeah.
Sorry, there was multiple
positives to it.
Like Pokemon Go, if you want to do a raid, you can either spend money or you have to plant your ass at the point where the raid is when the raid is happening. You've got 45 minutes in a typical non-event moment. I'm going to be here in an hour. Okay, now I'm here. I'm here for 45 minutes. You better be here as well if you want to do this. With Missing Link, it's like, if I touch any of these points in my day-to-day travels, I can just walk my ass back there for free, and I can do that. If I go to work and I pass by the train station and the park and the bus station and the cafe, I've touched all the spots. So if a raid shows up anywhere there, I could be at home, nice and comfortable, and I can walk my little ass over there, and I can participate in the raid because I was there in the last 24 hours. And I'm like, that fucking rocks. That's good.
Oh, that is interesting.
That's really good, because I hate being, told
tied to somewhere, right?
Yeah, I have to drive my ass back. I have to walk back to the park or whatever because when you were there earlier, it didn't matter, but now it's here. It's like I want to play it
pretty cool quality
on my terms, not when the game says jump. I'm like, well, I better jump because the fucking phone told me to. It's like, it's, if that
that is
come back, that'd be tough. But
what's that?
Sorry, Xeon's also played the beta. Basically, like there was a ton of like grinding that you could do. And they gave you out a free piece that made like so much of that grind better. If they don't, I think they kind of have to give that out because it wasn't good for clearing hard content, but it was really great for clearing out like just the day-to-day grindy crap. I feel like if they don't give that out early, that's such a huge mistake, and no one's going to play the game. And my fear is that they'll realize too late. They'll realize 2 months in, shit, we should give this to everyone. It'll be too late. Everyone will have done the spike and gone nope, and they'll leave. If you're like, it just needs to be good early on, really good early on. Yeah. Anyway, that's
gonna tank. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I'll be talking about that when the game actually comes out. But
Yeah, are you gonna like are you setting up any kind of expectations to recoup your YouTube career with Missing Link or?
I could see myself doing guides for it. I think
Mm.
I'm best suited as I'm getting older to like my brain just is failing me left, right, and center of like talking about stuff like
Tell me about
this
it.
in the moment, like giving myself I need live service content
Mm.
is exists for the week that the event is out, right? It's like, okay, I need to get the video out tonight because if people want advice on it, it's useless advice in a week. There's the part of me that loves making evergreen content that can be watched whenever. So I think a balance between that, like, do short form content that only exists for a few moments and then it's gone, and then
Yep.
kind of in the background be working on long form content that's hopefully more evergreen. Probably will be how I
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah.
Like I've got this Dark Road Explain video that I've been working on for so long that my hard drive got corrupted and I lost like everything on it.
Oh, shit.
But
That sucks.
it's back. I need to
Yeah.
put in like 45 seconds more of footage, then put in all the music, and it's done. It's finally.
Oh, nice.
I'm not happy with it, and my brain is like, it needs to be
Yeah.
perfect because you spent so much time on it. You've been away for a year, and that's like it's like
Mm.
poison. It's like it doesn't just put it out. Just anyway. So look
I
forward to
think
that.
there's a balance there, right? You don't want to put out something you're not happy with, but yeah, there is a point where
But someone like me
there's
is
too
never going
much
to be happy
time.
with it,
Yeah.
and I could have put
No,
out
I understand that feeling.
7 different videos in this amount of time, and I'm still obsessing because it's not frame perfect in one area for a video that people are going to have on as they're
While they
cooking
sleep.
food or sleeping or whatever. It's like it doesn't need to
That'll
be
be me.
perfect. I'm sorry, it doesn't need to be. Just put it
Yeah.
out. It's more important that it's out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like anyway.
Well, I think there's some level of self, like you're doing it for yourself at some point, right?
Sure.
But yeah, consumers, it's hard to, yeah, hard to please consumers, especially when, right, like most of them are going to be consuming it in an improper way anyways. So I don't know. It's rough.
I guess for gameplay guides, I'll probably be making that. I'm also like, I don't know if you're familiar with the story like at all. Probably haven't checked out the beta cutscenes, but we got
No.
like a few minutes of content from just the beta.
Oh, really?
Which sort of confirmed some thoughts I was having. So, if I only speak to the trailer right now, are you happy
Yeah.
to talk about it?
We can talk about the cutscenes. I don't know.
Well, okay,
I just need to watch them anyway.
I'll dance around it anyway. But like, I don't know. When I heard about like Missing Link,
Mhm.
and you can infer that it's like a predecessor. Sorry, it's a sequel to Union Cross, but before Dark Road.
Yep.
It's like, okay, so like, what do we know? It's like, okay, Brain has shown up at this time. A guy called like Sigurd walks up to him and says, "We knew you were going to be here. Come with me. We got some stuff to do." And it's sort of like something clandestine, and it's like, he's wearing a hood over his face, and it's the sort of gothic architecture, and it's like he seems to be operating under some sort of radar, meaning that he can't really conduct his actions out in the open. So there's some level of like he's doing something that other people kind of disagree with.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, the Book of Prophecy is clearly involved. Well, some level of future telling seems to be involved. It's like does he have a copy of the Book of Prophecies, or at least a portion of it, enough to know that Brain is going to arrive now? Like the last we saw of it, Brain gave it to Ephemer at the end of Union Cross and his Keyblade, and Ephemer's like, "I'll hang on to this for you, but I'm going to give him back." So does Ephemer be like, Ephemer was a kid back then. It's like centuries on. Does Ephemer say, "Hey, some people are going to show up in the future. Can you be there to wait for him? And can you give him the book and the Keyblade back? Or at least the Keyblade. Like, I don't know if the book, but can you at least give him this stuff back?" And then it's like, okay, if that is what the role that Sigurd is currently performing, to go in accordance with the Book of Prophecies, but he doesn't feel comfortable doing it out in the open, what does that say about a force that would want to disrupt that? Are there people... No, so I'm extrapolating. It does... Okay, in this hypothetical situation, does a person called Sigurd want to keep in accordance with what the book says because they want to lead to the future that is led in the book, or they just don't want to mess anything up? And is there people that go, we also know what's in the book, we don't want that to happen, we intentionally want to disrupt that? Like,
Right.
Are there multiple forces at play, like,
Oh, for
interpreting
sure.
the book in different ways? Like, it's a Union Cross sequel, right? It's like, are there multiple different unions, or I guess we now know they call it societies, but yeah, go on.
Well, because Evermere, right, wasn't his stance always to be like sharing the information. Like he was always asking questions, and
Yeah, he was really curious about the book. He was
I'm
always
sure
asking
he
like
would
Arthur about it.
read.
You
Yeah, like,
wouldn't.
I'm
You
sure
would
he would.
think he has the book
Yeah.
in his hands. He, in theory,
But I
like.
could see. Oh, sorry, keep going.
No, go on. That's your point.
I could see Ephemer, you know, doing a whole dandelion like Ava did, but like one part of it is like I need to keep up this facade of like, the book is secret, we can't share it, but then have his like secret community or whatever that does know what the book it says and they're trying to like change it. Like I could see that kind of sort of
Sure.
thing going on.
I mean, the final page of the book is, and so darkness prevailed and light expired, right? So it's like you probably don't want it to get to that point anyway, unless you know it's going to be okay afterwards. Like, I mean, I think from what we understand, the end of the book is the like
KH3, right?
KH3 Keyblade Graveyard. Everyone goes kablooey, right? Which
And then we make the new timeline.
we branch off from that, yeah.
Yeah.
So my thing was always like, because darkness seemed to be going along with the book, being like, and it's like, are they
Yeah.
going because the book ends with us winning? Like, cool, right? Like that's why we want to go along with it.
Yeah.
We are going to hijack Ven because the book says so. We're going to go into the future because the book says so, and then we win, right? Like that's so. It's almost like
Some part of them would have known, though, right?
it depends, like what level of
Yeah.
foresight they have, or like are they taking it at face value and not assuming anything at all? Like I don't know. To me, it was like it's the Master's plan to kind of put all these pieces in this particular way, like kind of set Xehanort up as this very curious guy. This goes into Dark Row. Set Xehanort up as this curious guy who's eventually going to recreate the Keyblade War. And like you've always got the Keyblade hanging in the classroom to look at like any new prospective Keyblade wielder. You're keeping an eye on him, keeping an eye on him, keeping an eye on him, going, that guy might be interesting. Lushu's around, but I don't necessarily know if he's working directly for the Master at this point, or if he's kind of doing his own
He's
thing.
the one that that hides the eye, right? In the Missing Link trailer.
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
I don't think he has the
Really?
Keyblade. I think it's someone else. Yeah. I think whoever.
Doesn't he take? Oh, so you think Brain leaves with the Keyblade in the box?
That. It's Brain's face. Are you saying Lushu's taken over Brain's body?
That was my impression of that.
Yeah, I
too.
don't think so.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh,
I got a video on it where it's like. At the end of Union
so you
Cross.
think that was Brain?
At the end of Union Cross, the last thing we see Brain saying to Lushu is basically like, oh yeah, all my friends have taken off. Like, I'm the only one left. I want to spend the rest of my life trying to wake these guys back up. They're all going into sleep mode right now, but I want to spend the rest of my life trying to make sure they're safe and that I can wake them up. Lushu's like, you're really clever, right? It's a shame there's only one life. You only have one lifetime to live, basically. Like, only one. What if you had? To me, that implies, well, what if you had two? We don't see. Okay, there's a whole thing about the pods, right? Ephemera, Skulls, Lorium, Arena, Ven, whatever, take off in the pods. One, it's the real ones and also the data ones. Anyway,
Yeah.
to me, it almost makes sense. And like, okay, the finale does so much so quickly. Like, it's trying to give you all this information. It
So
shows
much
you that
info.
like you can go in there. Lushu is walking around with this like version of this like person in a white cloak with red hair poking out the bottom. You're like, okay, that looks like Strelitzia. The Shirati seems to think it's Strelitzia. Is it her data backup? They keep screaming on about these data backups, and they go, we should all have one as well. I wonder where our data backups are. Oh, who knows? And it's like, did Lushu run in, grab Brain's data backup, yoink that out as well? So there's Brain and Brain's data backup that can sort of do two independent kind of things. It's a shame you only have one lifetime. Well, now you don't. Now you have two. One of you can be my apprentice, the one written in the Kingdom Hearts 3 Secret Reports, that I'm going to give Brain, who just gave away his Keyblade, by the way, and is now Keybladeless, perfectly. So Lucian can go, here you go. That's the Keyblade I'm going to give you. You get this one. As the reports say, I bequeath my Keyblade to one of the Union leaders. That would literally fulfills that condition. As the world's going to shit. Like, he said he gave it to a Union leader. Ephemera, Lorian, Ven, Brain, Skald. Strelitzia's already gone. He gave it to one of them. Did he give it? When could he have possibly given it to the other ones? Ephemera was always with Skald. The other ones took off ahead of time. Like, the only one that was ever on their own is Brain. Unless they're gonna pull some crap from what the information we currently have, he had to have given it to Brain to fulfill that condition.
Well, if you think
in the
about
report.
it too, when we see at the end of I think Union Cross might be in Missing Link, but you see FMA with his Keyblade, right? Like
Yes.
holding it up, and it's the Starlight Keyblade. It would be weird. The only thing that I find weird is that they do have the unknown Keyblade or whatever his missing
No name.
What's it called? No name. They do have that like hanging up on the wall.
Right. So how to get
Like that's odd. So there would be some explanation, but I think they wouldn't have like if Ephemera is running around with that Keyblade. I feel like they would have portrayed him with the Keyblade instead of with Starlight. But again, that's just speculation.
Okay, so the timeline. So you're saying Starlight, that's when he's fighting Player, right? He fights him with Starlight.
Mhm.
But it's after that. So he shoots the little beam, traps with Starlight, traps Player on the Four Darknesses in that little corridor in between.
Sorry, I'm talking about with the fountain where he's like holding up
Oh, okay.
Starlight.
No, he's not. He's
Yeah.
holding up. No, he's not. He's holding up the Master Defender.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, damn. My memory's fading. But, well,
that's the
it's
point.
not. It's not.
But-
No name.
No, it's not No Name.
Yeah.
No
I
Name
guess
ends
that
up
was
there
the main
later.
point.
To me, it
Yeah.
makes sense that like Ephraim has that Keyblade, Brain has No Name,
Mhm.
and then they both basically end up. Well, sorry, a version of Brain has No Name, and does that Brain keep it forever?
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably ends up like at some point Odin owns it, right? It's up on the wall. He can use it. I feel like Odin's going to end up with it. I think we're going to see Odin. I'm like positive we're going to see him in Missing Link because he's up to some
Yeah.
shit. I don't know. It's in my
He's
Dark Road video.
So weird.
Like
Yeah.
everything bad that happens in Dark Road is like directly traced back to him. Like my entire video is basically like Odin fucked up everything. Like
Oh,
I
and
gotta
even
get
in,
this video
like-
out soon before Missing Link confirms all this shit, but or deconfirms.
Yeah, you should. But even then, like folklore or like
Yeah,
mythology,
yeah,
whatever, like,
yeah.
Odin is the bad guy. Like he's not a great person.
Sure.
So like,
Yeah,
I think definitely like he's up to something. I think he's probably gonna learn the magic or whatever. Like I think he's learned from the No Name Keyblade how he can like see into the future.
okay.
I think he's gonna do the same to himself, right? Like he's missing the eye.
Yes,
It has to be like
related
yes,
in
it's
some way.
Odin. Odin has like an eye patch like that.
Totally,
that
totally,
tracks.
totally.
like-
It's related 100%.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
fact we have an eye Keyblade or like, a seeing eye, and he's missing an eye, like there has to be some correlation.
100%. Yeah. Oh, man, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, to answer that question, you're saying someone in the trailer in a black cloak is covering up the eye. To me, that's
Yeah.
definitely not Luciu. To me, I think Luciu's somewhere. I just don't think that's him. It's the point. It's the missing.
Yeah,
It's the
I think-
unwritten error,
yeah.
right? It's unwritten thing. It's not in the book. Actually,
Yeah.
there's another point. But yeah, so someone has the Keyblade and they're operating. They don't want the master. They don't want it to be in the book. What's happening right now? Basically, is
Yeah.
what's happening here.
I agree. Yeah,
That's why it's like I don't think it's Luciu. Luciu, it's always been kind of, even when he kind of
I
is
feel like-
pissed at the master, he's always working towards the
yeah, he
master's
does seem
overall
pretty
goals.
loyal.
Like he's pissed
I feel
during
like with
Key and
KH3
Unchained. By the end of Union Cross, he gets it. He's like, oh fuck, I finally get it now. Like his loyalty was tested. That's why he's the traitor.
Yeah.
But then he eventually like wraps back around. And he's like, oh shit, I get it now. Like I think from that point he's like completely loyal. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Yeah, rewatch that because I think he's suspicious. I don't know the scene with Luke's sword
yes,
and him
in Rain Mine.
always rubs me like. Oh,
That's a huge one. That's a huge
Yeah,
one. I
like,
feel like that's
he's-
gonna be so important going forward.
yeah. I don't know. We have to wrap up here.
I was about to say, do we have to
actually.
raid out in a second? Yeah, that'll be. You should be able to type the raid command if we're raiding. I don't know if we are.
Oh yeah. I'll set that up in a minute. Yeah. No.
We should do this
That
again.
was a good chat. Yeah. Even though we didn't get into any like details, it was good to like cover.
That's
I don't know,
good.
just like the life cycle and the marketing and the
Yeah,
kind of the handling of the Cage series.
I'm actually
Yeah,
really glad
like-
we did this because I've wanted to do a video for so long on like this kind of stuff, and we didn't get super into it. Of like, because I want to get into like this for like lessons that Missing Link should learn and try hopefully not to mess up. So yeah, I'm glad we at least kind of scratched some of the basics here. But
Yeah, definitely.
let's do it again. Anyway, thank you for listening.
Yeah, no, we should definitely do this again. But yeah, so we're gonna start the raid. I can do it on this computer. Oh, thanks, Kobe. We had some issues, but we persevered.
Good to see you, Comey. Hey,
Yeah,
Lance.
we just get that raid started.
If you have like topics that you want to see, like definitely let us know because I got so many things I want to talk about. My problem is like focusing in, but give me one topic and that's great. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I have some thoughts
Thanks,
on I think I wrote some notes that I shared with you that I really want to discuss at some point.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like they're not like a full video, but there are definitely some things that I'm really curious to, I don't know, just to explore. Because I feel like there's a lot of stuff. Because I only watched the trailer once when it came out, I feel like, and then I haven't seen any footage of the other stuff. So I'm sure there's other questions that are gonna like come up. But
Dude, you're not even ready. From what I know about the story, it's gonna blow your goddamn mind.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. Like I'm excited to not. Yeah, like.
Mom's the word on that.
It's been.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much to experience that it's like I mean really cool I think, and I feel like at a good pace as well, because like I don't know, working full time and then like trying to do all this like Kingdom Hearts stuff, it's like that's not gonna work. So I'm kind of like glad it's gonna be kind of paced out so I can catch up on all the lore and stuff. But,
so yeah, you guys should let us know if you like the cameras better or like back to the little like where are they?
Little Union Cross people,
little guys in the corner. Oh, there he is, he's working again. But yeah, if
Yeah,
I had like one more minute, I would get into like as we were talking about it. Someone was watching the fan dub literally just a few hours ago, and they mentioned like.
I rated.
Oh, that's okay. There's a secret on this.
I
this
didn't realize that Otto did it.
That's okay.
But yeah.
That's okay. I've still got the recording, but like the Book of Prophecies being read out in the end of like the Keyblade War portion of Key, and I guess we eventually got it in the scenario in Union Cross, but like to me that's like almost like describing Missing Link. But yeah, I'll get into that later. But anyway, all right.
Yeah.
We'll get ahead.
Yeah. That was my bad.
That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah.
No, it's not your
All
bad.
right.
We're over time. All right, go check out Wales. Go check out Whale. All right, bye.
Yeah, go check out Whale. I think they're already there.
Yeah, they are. All right.
I missed it. That was my bad.
And